this is the hot button topic for the podcast tonight, because anybody remember G4 Tech TV?
Yes, I do.
You know, in the early 2000s, it was a thing, and it produced well, it basically created the acting career of Morgan Webb and Olivia Munn. More Olivia Munn. I think Morgan Webb was more than willing to step into the background, and I know a lot of people attained respect that I would question for Adam Sessler. But now, in case you guys didn't know, G4 TV is back on YouTube. And immediately, the first live show that they do on this platform, one of their hosts, Froskypoo, who is a failed League of Legends esports commentator, mainly because she would try to insert things that were not relevant into League of Legends conversation. If you guys do not understand what I'm talking about, go watch your local sport ball game and you'll get what I mean. And that's what Froskypoo was trying to do. And she decided on the first night out for G4 to immediately berate, degrade, and destroy their relationship with the audience, because I don't even know if there was a comment in the chat, but she basically wanted to make sure that people knew that nobody could look at her as eye candy. You are not allowed to be able to undress her with your eyes. She is not there to be bangable for you. These are quotes from her actual rant. And no, I'm not playing it live because everybody's heard it at this point. And it's just fucking irritating because, well, she's just a fucking windbag about it. So she basically went on a feminist tirade on every single person in the chat at that live session, and they're still melting down today and suffering for it, because just in that one night alone, they lost about 2,000 of their 50,000 subscribers. And it continues to go down, and their detractors are going up. But more importantly, one of the things that has kept things going for it is Froskypoo continues to bring this stuff up and continues to berate and belittle her audience. Adam Sessler has lost all kinds of credibility when immediately after this meltdown, the internet was the internet and decided to go dig up some old tweets that he had. And, you know, I have a lot of problems politically with people. But you want to know one thing I've never, ever wanted to have happen? I never wanted them to die, especially while I watched them die. And we actually have tweets from Adam Sessler where he wishes his, and I quote, he wishes his Republican family members would die while he, quote, drinks something bubbly. Ouch. Lots and lots of videos and tweets of Adam Sessler berating his audience. And it only gets worse from there, because me and Alex have had lots of discussions about reviewers and being able to properly put up review videos. You know, it's a delicate process, right, Alex?
Yes.
How would you feel about this happening to you? You worked long and hard about a anime review, and the anchors of said network that you're working on can basically take your work and make it sound like their own. And there's no penalty to it.
Yeah, I fucking hate that. It would suck so much.
This is the biggest thing that a lot of people missed, and that I was kind of disappointed in Twitter on, because everybody went to the political aspect, but they literally said that they have a team of reviewers working on game reviews where they share the scripts and the reviews to the anchors, and the anchors will read their reviews, but don't worry, guys, they'll make sure to properly credit them. And people have already noticed after this happened, they failed to credit one person already. And guess what? It was our loving dear Froskypoo that did it. So, yeah, I think it's officially safe to say that every host on there, including one Gerard Khalil, that they are literally being parasites and leeching off the hard work of their lowers in order to make themselves look better, because that's how this system works. So, with that being said, did either of you guys hear about this G4 meltdown?
No.
No. The
Be
first time I heard of
thankful.
it was when you and I, like, just from us chatting throughout the week.
Be thankful, because Frosk is insufferable.
Well, good.
Insufferable. I love the fact that people have already had lots of fun pointing out a couple of her wonderful double standards. So she has a problem with you making her out to be bangable, right? Don't tempt the internet, people. Don't do it, because it won't end well for you. Video was discovered of Frosk, I believe it was on a previous G4 show, where she's standing behind let's just say a muscular black man, and she's about an inch from his butt, and she is imitating that squeezing motion that she's going to squeeze his butt. Part of her tirade was sexual harassment in the workplace. And there's a video of her attempting to commit sexual harassment in the workplace.
What the heck?
Oops! Yeah, do you want to know who I want to get an interview with? Everybody Frosk has ever worked with. That is a golden interview. I would love to be able to hear the stories that they could tell about this wench. I have no problem calling her that. But more importantly, what I want to get with this, because we've had this discussion before, Alex. If you want, so if you're going to start up a YouTube channel, Alex, what do you want people to do?
You want people to watch.
Okay. Well, I mean, aside from the concept that you have to make the video, once you have that video, what do you have to do?
You have to publish it. You have to upload it. You have to edit it. You have to produce it.
But more importantly, once it's out and available to see, you have to advertise it.
Yeah.
You have to get people to watch it. You have to put butts in seats, as we'll put it. Going on a feminist tirade against your male audience, and let's just face it, a lot of the people that wanted the G4 revival were male. Is that going to put butts in seats?
No.
Brenton, do you have a rebuttal?
No, it's not. I'm sitting, I'm just sitting here listening to everything you're saying, and the whole time I'm just like, wow, I don't think I've heard somebody, what's the phrase I'm trying to look for here? Hold on. It's coming. It's on the tip of my tongue. Shooting themselves in the foot as much as they did. Like, with this whole tirade pretty much just them taking a gun to every bone in their foot and just being like, I'm making content.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Why are people so
people
dumb
might think that this
sometimes?
is a familiar tirade for me to go on, because I was making the exact same accusations of one Daniela Pineda, who decided to go and open her noise hole when she was supposed to be advertising the Netflix Cowboy Bebop. And, well, she didn't do that very well, because she decided to go on a rant against a lot of the male detractors. And when her job is to put butts in seats, well, she didn't do that. Oops. And now that shit's canceled. So how'd that work out for you, Daniela?
See, my problem with that one, Adam, though, is because that was more about the people complaining that the costuming isn't exactly like the anime, right? We talked about that. We went on a whole thing about that.
But we also talked about the fact that maybe Daniela could have handled that better.
Sure, but I think here for me it's more bugging me because it's just like, I did try to sample a little bit of the video, but I have to also listen to I can get my thoughts in too.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, it sounds like they were talking about Red Dead Redemption, and she's like all of a sudden segueing for no real reason about. But you know what I really want to talk about? Sexism in video games, and it's like, why? There's a time and a place to discuss, really serious topics like this. The original G4 did have like documentaries about some of these really serious issues in the gaming industry. I don't remember every single one, but I remember one in particular that I remember from G4 late at night was like one about porn games or sex in game, not necessarily porn games, but like sex in video games, right?
Okay.
So it's like G4 can do these, but it's sort of like there's a time and a place to discuss these things, and there's a time and a place to, look at and examine these things, and that just isn't the time.
Yeah.
Hey, I have a question I want to ask, just because there's a statement I want to make, but I want to make sure that I have like all my facts before I start running my mouth. So don't these actors and actresses and these quote unquote celebrities have a team of people that essentially like remind them of certain contractual agreements of what they can and cannot say?
I'm glad you brought that up, Brenton.
So is that a yes or a no?
Yes, they do. Because here's the thing, the money that they're using to be able to fund this revival of G4 TV isn't their money. It's not Adam Sessler that's funding this. I believe that they confirmed it's Comcast that was the one that put forth the money to do this revival.
Yeah, I think it is Comcast.
Funniest
so
thing...
I guess
go ahead,
so like
Brenton.
so I guess my statement is like, are these people, I guess like it's part statement, part like rhetorical question, but are these people like not getting reprimanded or like losing their jobs and their managers and their teams?
Well,
because I know if I were like,
sound like they're not, but I have some evidence that I think goes to the contrary.
okay, good. Because like if I were the manager of one of these people and it's like, okay, like let's sit down, let's talk about let's talk about what you signed, what you can, what you cannot say, like this is a promotion, let's promote this product. And they go and shoot your mouths the way they're doing, and then they come back to me, it's like, so what did you think? My first question is, you're fired.
Well, see, here's a little tidbit that I want to ask if you're aware of, Brenton. Are you aware that when actors sign on for a popular movie, it's now being not wired, but it's being put into their contracts that they have to, quote, hand over their social media so that they, because part of their contract actually is that they have to go and advertise the movie or TV show or anime or whatever, and they have to do it so many times, kind of thing. So they have to hand over that.
I believe it.
Okay.
Like, I completely believe that, yeah.
So, funniest thing about that, because Adam Sessler, immediately after this, went completely into protected mode. And a lot of people are going to make the argument that, well, he was blocking people left and right before this, but a lot of people didn't expect the protected mode so quickly. And it looked very familiar to me. It looked very familiar to a similar situation involving Netflix and Kevin Smith, when he wouldn't shut his mouth on Masters of the Universe Revelation. And it was all bad press, and immediately, one day, he just shuts up. And then we found out later that it was Netflix that shut him up. And they basically locked him out of his account and said, you can't make any more statements in regards to this. And so Adam Sessler mysteriously goes protected. And last night, this is a funny thing about Frosk Kieran, is that she's occasionally says that, yes, she's the one that manages her Twitter and her Instagram and everything like that, right? But she's also made the claim that she has an agent who helps out with her publicity and whatnot. Guess what's part of those agent contracts? Alex, do you want to answer that?
I don't know, actually.
They also get control of that social media so that they can make sure that she honors the contract, kind of thing. And if she's not able to do it, then they kind of step in to be able, they basically kind of act like, you know how a corporation will basically hire somebody's nephew to go manage their social media? That's basically what agents can do. And last night, Froskypoo did a little, she calls it spring cleaning. I say it's a bunch of deleted tweets that were all the inflammatory tweets that might have gotten her in trouble. And she says that she did this, but I'm going to go ahead and say that it was happening way too quick. I think Comcast went through her Twitter and got rid of a lot of that shit.
I do not envy any single person who has to play cleanup for people who don't know how to control their emotions or their comments or their mouths.
Well, the problem is that everything is so corporate now, and corporations just cannot stand having a bad image on social media. Now, granted, I'm happy with corporations this year because there's been a twinge of them not caring anymore. They've actually started to deviate away from it, and we've actually had a couple of companies admit that they're not as focused on what people think of them on Twitter anymore. And I'm happy about that because it was not helping you in the slightest. And also, I think what's happening here is that they are seeing idiots like Froskypoo who are just doing nothing but bad press, nothing but bad PR, and actually, in turn, I would actually argue breaching their contract because they're not putting butts in seats. They're basically running people off as hard as they possibly can. So, yeah. I know that a lot of people are going to say, well, it was Frost because she didn't want to, she was basically running away from her stuff. No, it was happening too fast. I'm going to guarantee you it was somebody going in there and just going nuts. And it was probably like a corporate rep that was just like, delete that, delete that, delete that, delete that, delete that. Or it could have been her agent. Her agent just said, you're being an idiot. And she even comes out and says, well, I was just doing a little spring cleaning. No, you weren't. No, you weren't, because it was all the inflammatory tweets, not all the inane tweets that everybody puts up at any given moment. So, like, those were not being touched, Alex, but all the inflammatory tweets now gone.
Yeah, I can believe that's probably a corporate.
It's probably a corporate rep.
Yeah.
Coming in and saying, shut the hell up. And I also find it funny that she's been a little bit more peaceable, whereas she was not willing to talk to anybody up until that point, and now she's being peaceable with people, and she's being civil. And I have a feeling that's because Comcast said, shut up. Or like, if you can't say something nice, then shut up. And you know what? They have every right to do it, people. So for everybody who wants to say, oh, deal with corporate censorship. No, these people were actively trying to lose money. And that is not cool when Comcast is footing the bill. Okay? I will at least stand with Comcast in this regard. If I hand you $50,000 and you waste it going off on political tirades that have nothing to do with my product, you bet your ass I'm going to come in there and I'm going to start demanding some changes. Because it's my money on the line. It's not yours. All you walk away with is a hurt reputation at the end of the day. But I'm now $50,000 in debt. I mean, it's not a big debt for Comcast, but you get my point. Like, you're running my money into the ground. Of course I'm going to step in and say, shut up. Hell, I'd go 10 steps further. I'd fire every single person that was on that broadcast. And they would be gone. Which means a lot of the G4 veterans that a lot of people loved, they were on that broadcast. They're gone now. That's me. Somebody at Comcast was obviously nicer than me. So
I don't know.
Um,
I wonder. I don't know this at all. I don't know what the legality of that would be, considering contracts are a thing. Sometimes these contracts can be long term, so maybe it's not as simple as just like, yeah, you fire them when they screw up. So I don't know.
yeah,
That's
that's
just
why I'm saying if it were me, because I don't know how much power is actually delegated, because contracts can differ depending on the
Mhm.
company. Because I know companies like Paramount have tried to do these all-encompassing power grabs, and they haven't worked so well for them. And so I know that some companies have stepped that back, and I don't know what Comcast's was on this. But I do know that they loaned them the money, and this is an active. I would actually say, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Alex. This is evidence that they were flagrantly misspending it, and they could technically go to court for breach of contract.
And that's probably going to be a real big depending,
It
right?
is.
It's like, because also a lot of times, you know, a lot of times there's also like disclaimers, and I think a lot of people seen these like when you boot up a DVD, it's like
Yeah.
the views expressed are that of the individuals and not necessarily of our parent company. So it's kind of a like
Yeah, they do
people
that to
could
cover their ass, kind of thing.
yeah. So it's just like okay, I don't know what kind of stipulations there are for opinion, but
But
I have to
let's just
imagine
say for
there's
the
probably a bit of leeway considering, G4, it's meant to be kind of opinion based as well as entertainment. So,
and I'll give you
eh,
that. But what I can probably guarantee is that this contract was, we will lend you a certain amount of money and a certain amount of equipment and things like that to be able to do this over a year, to be able to earn that money back and be able to gain us profit. Okay, I'm guessing this is the basis for the contract.
yeah, I think that would be the most likely. And
So
pretty much
as an
those.
so at that
Mhm.
point, when the year runs up and you have to renew, would you renew that contract?
Yeah, definitely going to they'll think twice before renewing it,
Yeah.
probably.
That's
Yep.
going to be the greatest part about this, is that because the other thing too that a lot of people are pointing out, if this is Comcast's money, they're not even the other thing that's so glorious about this. I'll see if I can share my screen on this one, because people actually do need to see this. I do know that when it comes to YouTube contracts, part of the agreement is that you have to be able to procure a certain amount of views, and not necessarily subscribers, but views, because that's pretty much the only transaction that you are able to do in regards to this. And so a lot of contracts actually say, like, you need to produce a minimum of 50,000 views per video, kind of thing, with our sponsor money, etc. So
Hmm.
with that being said, let's just go ahead and do the ever so popular thing on YouTube of, let me see if I can share my screen here to be able to showcase this. There we go. So here is the G4 YouTube channel. So they have 492,000 subscribers. Okay, that's not necessarily that bad. Sorry, I said 50,000. It's 500,000 that they had, and I know that they've gotten some back since then. Um, so 500,000 subscribers, right, Alex?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, let's look at their videos for a second. So we have 6.1K views, 10K views, 24K views, 16K views, 26K, 28K, 19K, 31K. I'm pretty sure if you have 500,000 subscribers, then, dare I say, 10% of that at least has to be accrued in that contract. So that would be 50,000 views each. And so the way that you have to look at this is that, or at least the way that a company like Comcast looks at this, is that's lost money right there, because that's not 50K. That's not them honoring the agreement. 24K, well, that's not it either. Sorry, why did I do that? And you just keep going on, and yeah, we do have a couple of videos that do honor it. Okay. But then you look at anything recent, and like 4 days ago, 28K views. I'm pretty sure in the agreement is like within the first 7 days, it has to be 50K. So that's a problem. Definitely, like, if you're the investor, Alex, do you think you'd think twice about giving them money again?
I mean, I think twice before giving any online video channel. I mean, frankly, even before all this, I still thought trying to revive G4 was a bad idea.
Before people jump down my throat, yeah, I get it. YouTube is unpredictable, but companies don't really get that. Like they want to be able to have some kind of security, and this is the way they did it. Sorry, go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, I mean, still, I don't even know why anybody thought reviving G4 was going to be a good idea anyway.
Nope.
It's like,
I already could tell you that the other problem with it is that the irony of Froskypoo pointing out that you can't use sex to be able to sell it. Did she not watch like 80% of G4 content? They use sex to sell everything.
Yeah,
That's
G4 was the Gamer Bro channel.
Yes.
That's how most media is sold anyway. Like, if I think about some of the
because it's a universal marketing
Netflix
principle. Sex sells. You know, like that.
I mean, look at most of Netflix's early original shows before they started green lighting everything. Like the very first episode of Orange is the New Black. Like I saw boobs and vagina within the first 5 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that made Game of Thrones so popular wasn't necessarily the fact that they had such compelling characters. It was because they had boobs and dicks out all the time, and 80% of the times it was dicks.
Why have I not watched Game of Thrones then?
I was wondering if that was going to be a thing. I need to send you.
Nudity.
I need to send you the South Park choir one where they actually have people singing the theme song of Game of Thrones.
Wiener.
Yeah, it's Wiener, 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 Wiener.
I've seen it. It's beautiful.
Yes.
Sorry, I digress. I just wanted to pretty much support what you're saying. Like sex does 100% sell. Like it doesn't matter if it was at the start of the end of the 2000s, start of the 2010s, all the way into like the early 2020s now. Like people very much are using that beautiful.
I'll be right back. Continue.
Blessed, wonderful. I don't know where I'm going with this. Sex sells. That's pretty much it. I'm not really sure where Adam was going to go with that after I supported what I just was saying. So, I mean, you Alex, you and Adam know and are aware of G4 way better than I am. I didn't really know what G4 was until Adam had brought it up this week, just in our idle conversation. And so I've looked into it a little bit as I've been preparing for this show. But overall, what I like my opinions and what I can contribute to this particular conversation is only to support just the bare simple facts of everything that you guys are saying right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, Adam's back.
Yes.
I was like, how much longer can I ramble?
Let me put it this way: like, if sex sells and all the things that we're pointing out here. I mean, one of the big videos that's been going around. I don't know if you've ever seen this one, Alex. Did you ever see the challenge where Olivia Munn had to eat a hot dog that was dipped in mustard from like a rope?
No, I didn't see that.
This exists. They did a lot of this stuff, and Olivia Munn was a good sport about it. But this video has been played so many times right next to "You're not allowed to consider whether or not I'm bangable," and then Olivia Munn eating the hot dog with mustard on it, kind of thing. So yeah, G4 used this entirely, and you going on a sexist rant when sex sells was utilized so much in G4's advertising is really hypocritical, especially when you have Adam Sessler in your panel and he's the guy that okayed all that. Yep. Bottom line, boys
right
and
now,
girls.
there was an argument after that.
Bottom line, boys and girls, don't support G4. Don't do it, because obviously Comcast is probably not going to do that next year, and they're going to shut it down. And I agree with Alex. It should never have been resurrected.
Yeah, it's a byproduct of the cable days. You know, we have YouTube channels dedicated to gaming now. Why do we need another G4?
There are channels with lesser budgets that do better than G4. Sorry, just being honest.
It's true.
That was like the bullet to the head and the final nail in the coffin in that one statement alone.
No, that was the bullet to the head, the nail in the coffin, and then shooting where the head would be in the coffin. Yeah, you basically made it so that oh yeah, and this is wonderful. Okay.
It's throwing you out of a plane and then shooting you.
Indeed. So